Hola clase, this is Profe. Buenos dias. I am experimenting with some new ways to give you all notes. And I found an app called Screencastify, which allows me to share my screen with you and make videos so that I don't have to be in them and I can walk you through the notes that we have to do for our distance learning packets. So I thought I'd start with week 1, specifically conjugating present tense verbs. And this is really important for the rest of the year. It's a skill you're going to have to know. There are a few important vocabulary terms, so I'm here if you can follow my mouse. I'm here, it says vocabulario importante, important vocabulary. A verb is a word that implies an action. Verb is an action word. I also use the word infinitive to describe a verb, mostly in Spanish. I use the word infinitive to describe the simplest form of a verb. So a verb that's an action, but the word itself ends with AR, ER, or IR. AR, ER, or IR. This is really important because it lets us know that it's an action that does not have somebody or something to do the action yet. And when we conjugate our verbs, to conjugate here, the fourth definition, that means that we are giving that verb somebody to do the action. That's the most important part of this entire lesson. When you conjugate a verb in Spanish, it means that you give an action somebody to do that action. So I'm going to go through really quickly how to do that, okay? And then I'm going to show you in the assignment a couple of examples. So here we go. To conjugate present tense verbs, first you need to figure out if your verb ends with an AR, ends with an ER, or ends with an IR. That's the first thing I do when I look at any one of my verbs. I always make sure I look, does it end with AR, does it end with ER, or does it end with IR? And I do this because, as you can tell, verbs that end with AR have different conjugation endings than verbs that end with ER. And verbs that end with ER have different conjugations endings than those that end with IR. So, once I figure out if I have an AR verb, an ER verb, or an IR verb, I take off that AR, that ER, or that IR. And I'm going to show you right here in the box. So let's say I have an AR ending. Let's say the verb is bailar. Okay? Step 1, this is an AR verb. I know this because it ends with AR right here. Bailar. Okay? See that. All right. Next, I'm going to try to figure out, I apologize. Next, I'm going to take off the AR. Make bile. This is the stem or the root of the verb. This is going to come in handy next week when we talk about stem changing verbs. Maybe some of you are there already. Okay, now we're going to figure out who's doing the action. I didn't say this before. Let's say we are going to go with she dances. Okay, bailar means to dance. So she, we have to figure out what subject she is. She is ella. All right, now once we figured out that she is ella, we can go up to our chart up here and figure out what ending goes along with ella. Is it O? No, O goes with the yo. Is it tu? No, tu goes with as. Is it a? Yes, because a goes with ella right here. So we need to take that ending and we need to add it right onto the end of our stem to make ella baila. I'm going to do one more example with an ER verb so that we're all on the same page. So let's say we want to, this is supposed to be dances. Let's say we want to say I eat. I eat. I eat. Okay, well, we're going to do it in there we go. I eat. The verb to eat is comer. That's its infinitive. Comer, the first thing I do is this is an ER verb. Okay? It's an ER verb because it ends with ER. Comer. ER. All right? Next thing I do take off ER. Make com. This is the stem or root of the verb. Okay? And the next thing I do is I have to figure out who is doing the action. In this case, it's I. I equals yo. And the yo ending for ER verbs, yo ending for ER verbs is O. And I add that right on to the end of my root to make yo como. Yo como, I eat. Okay. So as we move on down, I'm going to skip past this important vocabulary here for las profesiones. That comes in handy more next week. Here are some helpful verbs in each of the categories: AR verbs, ER verbs, and IR verbs, and some question words just in case you've run into some issues with answering questions accurately. Now we're on page 4 in the first assignment of your Distance Learning Week 1 packet. Up here is really just a copy and paste from the notes, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to go into number 2. And I'm going to do about 4 of these, and then I'm going to end the video. So here it says conjugate the following verbs in present tense. All right. So for each one of these, I have to figure out, is it an AR verb, an ER verb, or an IR verb? Then I have to take off that AR, ER, or IR, and then I have to go back to my chart up here and add the correct ending. So let's start with the first one. Yo blank con mi amiga. The verb is hablar. Click right in there. So hablar is an AR verb. Okay, so I know I need to go to the AR verb endings chart above. All right. Next thing I do is I take off the AR to make habl, which is its root. All right. Now I'm going to go back up to the top, and I'm going to see that it says in the AR verb endings that the ending for yo is O. I'm going to add that right to the end to make yo hablo. Boom, done. All right. Number 2. Ella blank la tarea. The verb is escribir. Escribir is to write. Now, escribir is an IR verb. It ends with IR. So I take off the IR to make escribe. Okay? And now I have to figure out who's doing the action. It's ella, she. All right? So now I need to go find the ella ending in the IR verbs chart. So we're going to go up to the IR verbs chart. It's not yo, it's not tu, it's ella. In the IR verbs chart, it's the letter E. That's my ending. Ella escribe. All right? Moving on. Tu and bailar en la fiesta. Okay? Bailar is an AR verb. I take off the AR and I make that bail. Now I'm going to go up again. I'm going to go to the AR verb endings. What was my subject there? It was tu. Tu. The AR ending is as. I'm going to add that right to the end. Tu bailas. All right? See this one? Last one here for me. Ellos blank comida mexicana. This is comer. Comer is an ER verb. I take off the ER to make com. I go up to the ER endings. What was my subject there? If you need to go back, take a look. It was ellos. Okay? The verb ending for ellos in ER endings is en, E-N. So I make it comen. I add that right to the end. All right. So quickly, I want to go over a couple of things here. In these questions, 3 through 9, if at any point in time I'm asking you about you, if any point in time that tu comes up in any one of these, you have to answer with yo. So for example, ¿Qué estudias en la clase de historia? I need to make sure that you know how to answer this question. So for ¿Qué estudias? What do you study in history class? The only way to answer that is I study. So your answer needs to be in the yo form. However, in this one, ¿Dónde trabaja profe? Where does profe work? I don't need you to answer in the yo form. I need you to answer in the he form because you're talking about him, profe. Okay? The fill in the blank here is essentially the same thing as it was above that we went through together. And then we get to the long paragraph. This looks daunting, but it's actually a lot easier than you think it is because I'm only asking you a few questions. It has all of the explanations of people that we know how to do. We know how to describe people based on the things that they do. We know how to describe people based on the things that they like to do, right here. We know how to describe people based on their personality, right here. Okay, and I'm only asking you a few questions. So at any point in time, if you have questions, please let me know. And one thing I wanted to note is that a few people are not conjugating their verbs correctly here in the poem. Please make sure that you conjugate these in the yo form. Okay, so this is my first video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to make one for the other packets as well. And please give me your feedback. So thank you very much.